The MedBricks webcast is focused on bringing distinguished Indians and others from diverse fields of science, medicine, technology, and philosophy to learn from each other and to create a new understandings and foster new ideas related to healthcare. Hey, good morning, India. Good afternoon, someplace in California. I used to live in West Coast. That's why good evening. A lot of friends I have, they watch. And in the sleepy time in Silka, in the East Coast. Welcome you all. My name is Ramana Annamaraju. I'm the this MedBix webcast host of the MedBix webcast host. Thank you all. I am getting excellent reviews from the people who are participating, who are giving input and watching it. Thank you all. It is really a new format, and I started it without knowing its work is going to work or not. But it's a tremendous response I'm getting. Thank you all. A lot of doctors, CEOs of the hospitals, and the policymakers are watching. Thank you all for that. They particularly that kind of people, significant people watching it. It's a very honor. Thank you all. So we have a very distinguished guest today, Dr. His name is Dr. Krish Tangerla. Is a distinguished professor of clinical pathology in University of Chicago, Illinois, Urbana. He is going to talk about, then right now the main thing is everybody is talking about another pandemic, another global healthcare emergency. It's not a pandemic, but it's a global healthcare emergency like the previous one. Is a monkeypox. Let us ask him some questions. He is the right person to ask questions. Dr. Krishna Tangala, welcome you, sir. It's an
Thank you,
honor.
Ramana. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah.
Delighted to be here.
So, everybody is talking about monkeypox became took a center stage in the United right now all over the world. So we want to get to know a little bit to know what is going on with this monkeypox. So what is a monkeypox, Dr. Tangela? What is actually everybody is talking about?
Yeah. So monkeypox is a viral infection that infects humans and other animals. It can spread humans to humans, and humans can acquire it from animal sources. There are a variety of sources of monkeypox. The virus itself belongs to an orthopox virus genus. And the endemic source of natural monkeypox is in the Western Africa and in the Congo Basin. So essentially, it's a viral infection.
It is not from coming from just from monkeys. It is from all the different animals. Also, it can
So
come from different animals, right?
yes, so it can come from a variety of animals, including rodents. There has been an epidemic that originated in early 2000s in United States, and that originated from a rodent. Um, Even though it's called monkeypox, uh, these are not from monkeys. Um, Actually, in 1958, in Denmark, the research in a research laboratory, the monkeypox was isolated, and it infected the monkeys there, um, which were being housed. So that's why the name monkeypox. Unfortunately, these do not come from monkeys.
So that COVID-19, for example, people with immune compromisation like diabetes and hypertension, COPD, they are much more prone to get serious hospitalization with the monkeypox. Sorry, with the COVID-19. What are the age group or what kind of a population is at risk for monkeypox?
Sure. So monkeypox can infect and affect individuals of any age. Um, Both males and females can be infected. Um, the cases have been reported worldwide. Of course, there has been an endemic zone of monkeypox in Africa, in the Congo Basin. But the cases have been reported in North America, South America, Europe, Australia, Eurasia, everywhere. Um, Of course, the reason why we have enhanced awareness of monkeypox recently is because of the outbreak that has happened in United States.
What are the sorry? I'm sorry about that. What are the risk factors involved with the monkeypox? What kind of the particular people that we're talking about? What are the risk factors here?
Yeah. So traditionally, the risk factors for of acquiring monkeypox has been exposure to animals uh, which were infected with monkeypox virus. Um, of course, infected humans, such as in the current epidemic, is an important risk factor. Um, Infected animal bites are a source of infection. Uh, Cuts and contact with animal fluids with are a source of infection. Um, the risk factors includes somebody who is has an infection, has been breathing through from aerosolic droplets. Um, Most of the cases in 2022 outbreak that we are noticing is through human to human contact, especially sexual contact. Um, it's interesting to note that in 2003 U.S. outbreak of monkeypox, the exposure was traced to wild animals, particularly rodent, which were kept as pets. So, the following risk factors for monkeypox.
Are there any or need to be careful about this system and anything about pregnant women?
Yeah, absolutely. So, um, pregnancy itself does not enhance the risk for uh, monkeypox virus, the state of pregnancy, but a pregnant woman who's been infected can transmit the infection to fetus. This is called vertical transmission. So this has been reported. So the baby may be born with monkeypox infection.
When I was a kid, I had chicken pox. So what are the symptoms and signs? My mother used to do all these some kind of a voodoo kind of things, for chicken pox. There is not much at the time we had vaccines. What are the things that we can do? What are the symptoms and what for the monkey pox?
Sure. So it's interesting. It is important to understand that the monkeypox virus infection has an incubation period. Incubation period is defined as a period of time from exposure until the first signs and symptoms appear. This incubation period varies from individual to individual and can range from 5 days to 21 days. As you pointed out, you know, um, other viral infections can have similar signs and symptoms. So the initial signs and symptoms of a monkeypox infection would include fever, exhaustion, headaches, muscle aches. Of course, these are non-specific symptoms related to many viruses. Interestingly, after these non-specific symptoms occur within days of that, uh, an individual infected with monkeypox may get rashes and swollen lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are glandular lymph nodes that are present all over your body. The rash that starts off is usually flat and red, and with time, these skin lesions become a little elevated, a little thick. They get filled up with yellow pus. And once they are filled up with yellow pus, eventually they rupture. And when they rupture, there is the skin ulcer that gets created. And then skin heals over this ulcer. It makes a crust initially, and then slowly dries out, and the crust falls off. And the time course of the skin lesions from the appearance of a rash to the falling off of the crust is approximately 4 weeks. And classic outbreaks usually show rashes on face, palms, and soles of human body.
So visible, the visible symptoms are very clear. You see that ugly stuff on that one. But
Yes,
is there any other test available to diagnose and check this monkeypox symptoms or monkeypox
sure.
actually diagnose it?
Yes. So, uh, now, in order to diagnose monkeypox, one has to be aware of possibility of an infection. So suspicion is extremely important. Um, Initially, a healthcare provider will take a complete medical history and do a physical examination, including examination of your skin, eyes, oral cavity, your glands, lymph glands, and uh, and the physician or healthcare provider may ask you what kind of medications you're taking, including over-the-counter medications, because some of the medications can cause a rash. So you need to eliminate skin rash, drug eruption as a possibility. Then your travel history is important, your occupational history, whether you're working with infected animals, as a zookeeper or a lab researcher is important, um, and history of sexual contact. Um, so before you kind of make a diagnosis clinically, monkeypox, other skin conditions that cause a similar signs and symptoms, such as chickenpox, herpes zoster, which is commonly called as shingles, tularemia, those things need to be ruled out. Now, once the physician suspects that it is probably a monkeypox, he or she has to confirm the diagnosis, and it's an easy confirmatory test. It's a DNA PCR test. It's a molecular test that's readily available, and you take a swab of the crust and then send it out to a qualified laboratory for PCR testing. Now, there are viral cultures available for monkeypox, but it's usually not necessary because PCR test is more convenient. Very, very rarely, a physician or a healthcare provider may perform a skin biopsy, um, and there are certain histological features a pathologist may examine, which may conclude that this is consistent with a viral infection. But the most important test is the PCR test.
Dr. Zangela, you're a clinical pathologist. Is there any treatment for this? What is the treatment options that the patients have for this?
Yes. So, monkeypox is considered to be a self-limited disease that lasts between 2 to 4 weeks. It goes away on its own. Currently, there are no specific FDA-approved medications available for monkeypox. The treatment is usually symptomatic. If you have fever, you can give, anti-fever medications called antipyretics, like acetaminophen, Tylenol. If you are dehydrated, then you can give intravenous fluids. Make sure you maintain your electrolyte balance. Um, if you have crusted skin ulcers, then make sure that you prevent secondary infection and bacterial infection and fungal infection by just keeping them clean. Um, so it's possible that antiviral medication that are active against smallpox and cytomegalovirus, which are considered to be similar to monkeypox, may be recommended by your physicians on a case-by-case basis. But there is no currently FDA-approved medication for monkeypox.
It is at least it is not a life threatening. At least So in most cases, right? If you
No. So the prognosis of monkeypox is generally very excellent. As I pointed out earlier, it is a self-limiting infection. Um, in vast majority of individuals, the recovery is complete without any complications. Um, those who receive early diagnosis and get monitored obviously have better prognosis, and so the complications are much less. The duration of the disease is usually between 2 to 4 weeks. If you are immunocompromised state, such as those with HIV infection, with poorer immune system, individuals undergoing cancer chemotherapy, are prone to get more severe infections and more severe complications. So outcomes in such groups may be guarded.
Thank you. Great information. It is absolutely wonderful information. You're also founder of a company called DoveMed. Tell me something about DoveMed. Um, what is your plans for the what is the DoveMed does?
Sure. So DoveMed is a health information ecosystem where we have a tremendous amount of home-built content, and we have multiple forums that brings patients and healthcare providers, such as doctors and advanced healthcare providers, together. Um, the content that we wrote has been developed over a long period of time, and we have a variety of tools that are very helpful for healthcare providers, such as physicians, clinics, hospitals, uh, businesses that participate in healthcare categories. And we have a tremendous amount of learning modules for medical students, residents, those undergoing board certification or board recertification. We also have CMEs that will help the healthcare professionals maintain their license. Um, we have a product called My Circles, Ramana, that helps patients with chronic conditions come together and support each other. So these are patient forums where they can interact with patients with similar conditions and symptomology. And they can even
Yes.
share the healthcare providers they are seeing and what treatments work, what treatment doesn't work, and they can learn from other patients, including new treatments. Um, so there are numerous products on DoveMed ecosystem that help bring healthcare providers and healthcare consumers together.
The support groups not only among patients, you're creating a support groups, and also you're saying a support group among physicians. They can come, primary care physicians, for example, get a lot of information from your site. Is that am I saying right?
Yes, Ramana. So we have uh, forums that are around, uh, around medical conditions such as psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis, ulcerative colitis, and any other, chronic condition, chronic fatigue syndrome, etc. Um, these are for healthcare consumers. But we also have forums called Dove Hubs that allow verified physicians. We have a verification process so that physicians can participate on DoveMed platform, and they can participate in these forums based on their specialty. We have over 250 different specialty forums, so we can have pathologists come together and just talk about pathology issues. Only verified pathologists are in this forum, so they can have a very highly intellectual, medically jargoned interaction, and learn from each other, teach each other. Um, and there's a forum for cardiologists, there's a forum for oncologists, and so there are over 250 different specialties and super specialties that we have curated these forums for, that these physicians can come and participate. It's a pretty exciting product that we have released about 6 weeks ago, and please make sure you let your colleagues know, who are physicians, to come and claim their profile and participate in this forum. It's absolutely free.
Thank you, Dr. Tangela. Thank you. When I get back after presenting the presentation, I will ask you questions about the profiles. How do you create? Doctors can create a profiles. How easy it is, and how do you create profiles for the patients? I'll come back and ask you on the question. Let me present these things. Where the present day the topic is PET scan. So that's let me put in the back. He's going to listen, but I'm going to present to Dr. Tangela. Can you see the screen? Oh,
Yes, I can.
you can. Okay. So I'm going to present this PET scan, positron emission tomography, detecting cancer. This is a very exciting subject. I'm going to talk about it. So let me. Maybe you can also come down there and see it. Okay, the positron emission tomography of detecting cancer. There is a story behind it. It started with the Big Bang. The story of the cancer detection starts with the Big Bang of our universe itself, birth of our universe. And when the universe was born, it went into two forms. So one is matter, another was the antimatter. So that's followed the equations of Albert Einstein's equation that E is equal to mc square, energy turned into the matter. And matter and antimatter both are equally produced equal amounts, but we don't know where the antimatter is. That we can't find the address of the antimatter, but we know we live in the universe that is the matter. That the galaxies, stars, the planets and the earth, these are all matter. So we live in that universe, but we don't know where the antimatter is gone, but we know its existence. So it came from it's a fundamental in the birth of universe. But if you see this antimatter is the evil twin. If you are looking in the mirror, suppose that in the image in the mirror is different than you have to be careful. You have to be you don't want to meet her. Suppose if you see in the mirror, your image in the mirror is different than you are, that is a big dangerous sign. That is an antimatter. And if you get together, is basically destruction. Hundreds of Hiroshima, Nagasaki bombs will go off. So you don't want to meet the evil twin. That is the antimatter. You cannot meet the large amounts of antimatter. That's very dangerous of your size. But but what is antimatter? Matter is, suppose if you see, I'll give you an example of, we are made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, all of them we are made up of the elements. But if you see the hydrogen atom, the proton is in the middle, and the positively charged particle in the proton is in the middle, and then part of the nucleus, and the electron moves around. That's just at least a simplified picture I'm giving you. So in the antimatter world, the antiproton is a negatively charged, is exactly opposite charge of the proton, and the electron is positively charged, exactly charges basically. And then that is the antimatter. Hydrogen atom is the center is the positive. Regular hydrogen you see is the center is hydrogen, is a proton is in the center is a plus, and the negative charge is in the circle around it. And the antimatter, you see in the proton is in the antiproton is in the middle, and the positron, which is the electron, opposite of electron, in the outer scales. So if you see bananas, for example, bananas have one positron they emit every 75 minutes because they have potassium 40. So the antimatter is here. We know its existence. We know the antimatter particles. They seep into our world. So what the bananas, for example, the spit out one positron every 75 minutes. So actually, our human bodies produces 200 positrons per 1 hour. Very small, very minutely. The atom is so small. We are trillion cells. Is nothing. Out of that, very small thing. It is actually negligible. But we produce the antimatters actually. So our humans produce 200 positrons, and the bananas spit out actually one positron per 75 minutes. So So the antimatter, the cost of the antimatter is of $65 trillion. If you want to take a 1 gram of 65, it costs about $65 trillion. There's no country has that kind of money now. So he's actually the producer in the CERN laboratories, University Hadron Collider in French Alps, Swiss Alps. Is a huge collider, this accelerator. So they use this antimatter, the possible field for the interstellar travel. At least is in the designs. So if you want to go to Alpha Centauri, another star system, it takes 4 light years. You need a lot of light years. Means it's not 4 years. It takes a lot more. You have to go with the speed of light, but you can't go speed of light. Even if you go off of the speed of light, then you need a lot more years to stay there in the interstellar travel. So it is a that may be fuel for the antimatter, could be a fuel for the interstellar travel. So the antimatter was actually, this idea was created by, this idea was is a mathematical. It came from a mathematics. It did not come from real world. It came from first in the mathematics. His name is Paul Dirac. He's a British physicist. He was born in 1902, and he was a genius in this sense. And he was kind of a guy that he doesn't talk much, but when he talks about it, two things he was talking. He talks about once in a, they call him one word per hour. But when he talks about it, he's not a, he talks about space and time. He talks about the nature and all the physics. And also he talks about religion. He was dead against religions and all the gods. So his friend used to call him, there is no God, Dirac is his prophet. They used to make fun of him. He talks that much about religions and gods, against the gods and religion. So he wants to see the God in a mathematical beauty. Mathematical beauty is, so he was exploring the nature of space and time, how the nature works around us. That one is investigating. He came across one powerful equation. That equation is you see that, I saw, that derivative equation with a psi function. You found out two things is coming out of the mathematical equation, spitting out, is that there is an existence of spin. The electron will have a spin, and then there is opposite of electron, antimatter, which is a positron, would be existence. They need, it is a natural outcome of this mathematical equation, but nobody knows they exist at all. So a lot of people told him, he was very skeptical, and a lot of scientists and friends are skeptical. Is that the antimatter existence of antimatter, or spin of an electron, or spin of the particles exist. So he kept under his table, under his desk for 3 years, keep on checking. He's a very careful guy because he is a very logical and everything. He kept for 3 years. He did not publish the paper. Eventually, he was convinced that is the only way that the universe works. The whole nature works around us. So he published the paper. Then a lot of people were skeptical still, but it came from the universe itself. The proof in the 1932 April 26th, there was the cosmic rays they come from black holes or neutron stars. A cosmic rays, they're from special stars. They come from the black holes or the neutron stars. So they enter into this cloud chamber in Caltech. They've entered into the cloud chamber, and actually the electron went one way, the opposite of electron went the other way. That was the first proof, mathematical. That is the real experimental evidence came from Carl Anderson, is a professor in Caltech. He proved it. There is existence of antimatter. Then he was extremely popular. He got the Nobel Prize. He won the Nobel Prize for his discovery of this antimatter thing. So he combined his equation is a little complex. I mean, it's simple but complex in a sense. He was combining the Albert Einstein's special theory of relativity, and then Schrödinger equation is a quantum mechanics equation. Is combining them, special relativity and quantum mechanics together. He combined with this Dirac equation. For a physicist, Dirac is like a god almost for us. I'm a physicist. I studied physics. I have a master's in physics. It's very important that is very important. That is the Dirac equation is a very, very important for physicists. But what is the kind of, so let us talk about healthcare now. The healthcare is, what is the cancer is the number one or two enemy, one of the enemies. 39% of the people will have, think about it, every out 4 out of 10 people will get the cancer one way or the way in their lifetime. That is scary statistics in the United States. 1 out of 4 out of 10 will have the cancer one way or the way in their lifetime. 42% of the cancers can be preventable. That is just unbelievable. It's preventable. So 100 plus, there are 100 plus types of cancers. We spoke with Dr. Dr. Krishna Tangella. He can talk about it more, about the number of cancers available. So the number of cancers are there in our system. So we need to be, there is a, we need to detect cancer. So to find it, to prevent cancer, we need to detect it. How do you detect it? So positron emission tomography is a device, a medical device is invented. It detects the cancer, the growth and function of the cancer cells, how they behave, what they do, and they take a movie and the function and the structure of the cancer cells. We can detect through positron emission tomography. Positron emission tomography is a medical device that then detects the cancer, and also it understands the function of it. So how does it detect? So they give a radioactive sugar. A sugar, they make it a radioactive. I'll explain to you. Is injection is called FDG. They give injection to the patient. Once you give injection, it's a sugar. Is a sugar. What that is chemically, FDG is a sugar. Is called fluorodeoxyglucose. Is exactly sugar. Exactly sugar. It is analog to the sugar chemically. So it's no different. So body thinks it is a sugar. When you give the injection, body thinks you're getting the sugar. That's all it is thinking. But there is a radio tracer inside. For the Trump fans, there is a chip inside. It's not a chip. It's a radio tracer. They put in the radio tracer, attach it to the glucose. That is attached to the glucose, and it goes through the system. So cancer is a biological, biology of the cancer is that it likes sugar. It consumes a lot of energy. It requires energy. It's a lot of active tumors are particularly more dangerous, and they consume a lot of sugar. So the FDG goes there, and then you can, because of the FDG as a radio tracer, you can get a lot of information from there. What do they do? What it does. So that is FDG is a radio source. Is basically how to generate through cyclotron. It's a particle accelerators. It is a very complex machine. But cyclotron is there is the United States. We have 150 cyclotrons in the United States. China has 130. India has a merely 19. In Africa, for example, less than 10. All Africa together. So health equity is not just doctors and patients. Access to the doctors is a lot more technology. It is a medical devices, the radio sources, all of them is a part of the health equity process. So I think that is the inequities or existence in every area of the things we need to address in healthcare. So India is a long way behind in the nuclear medicine side. So how do we handle these? Because there's a radioactive, you the frontline workers put their life at risk. They're taking, you have to be extremely careful. Nuclear medicine technologies is a very highly trained profession. They have to handle these radioactive materials. If you have long exposure, can cause cancer to them. So basically they call it's a hot lab in the PET scan in the facility is located in the hot lab is located in the next to the PET scan. It is basically it's a thick lead thick wall. They handle through proper mechanisms. So they store, prepare, and deliver all the radioactive materials through hot lab. Basically, hot lab is very, it's a kind of a danger. You have to be careful about it. There's a lot of regulatory agencies control this. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, FDA, state, federal, all of the agencies control this process because it is a radioactive materials. Safety is involved. It's also the people who are bad people can do the suitcase bombs and all those things. That's why there is a very highly regulated industry. This is. So the how does it work? When you take a FFDG injection, they give it to the patient. What it does, it has half-life of 2 hours. Within 2 hours you have to do the test. So it goes it's not a picture, is not clear. Next time I have to draw it. But the FDG is a glucose. The brain is basically, suppose you're taking the brain, you're checking the Alzheimer's or any particular pathology in the brain. What it does, the cancer takes a lot more FDG, consumes a lot more of this sugar, but it's a radio attached sugar, radioactive radioisotope is there. So it goes inside the body and immediately it produces because of with this quantum mechanical properties, it produces the quantum mechanical thing. Random, it produces sorry. It produces quantum mechanical property. It produces the it emits the positron. When the positron is a positively charged electron, so the moment it touches the electron, because our cells are made up of atoms have electrons. All the movements and everything is because of the electrons. The moment the positron from the nuclear radio source, which is the radioisotope. Sorry, this is yeah. So radioisotope comes through the and interacts with the electron. It produces the gamma rays, 2 gamma rays. I tell you, that is when new isotope goes into the body, the radioisotope, which is analog to the glucose. It goes into the body and then produces the positron. Positron immediately interacts with the surrounding cells, the electrons in these cells. Immediately it produces the reason why you need a gamma rays, why you need a powerful rays to come out, because it is inside. The cancer is all the way inside. You cannot see it. Only way to investigate is this is a mechanism. It's the only way, the mechanism you can find out the structure of the tumor, size and function of how active it is, the tumor. They find out through this process. So you need a powerful gamma rays to come out of the body and then not interacting with a lot of cells inside, and it should come out. That's the only way you can detect it. So there's a FDG, as I said, that 2 hours. There's a rubidium is also there. That's for the cardiologist to use. Is at 75 seconds. Is a much more shorter time. This is one of the problems in other countries. We don't have that 75 seconds. You have to have a generator itself right there. So some of the countries is not possible. So what is this gamma rays? What kind of a rays they produce? If you say it's when you see heat, when you see light, when you see anything, that when you hear, when you cook something, they're all microwave electromagnetic spectrum. The photons waving with a different wavelengths. That's all it is. They're all photons. They're all energy. Photons waving different wavelengths. When you cook something and you heat it up, that is in microwave. That's also photon. When you do X-ray, that is a photon. It is when you do gamma rays, that is which we are the positron emission tomography usually said, is also photons. But the way they go in the wavelength is different from all of them. So the shortest wavelength is the gamma rays. That's why they use for cancer detection and cancer treatment. They use the gamma rays. When you go to the visible spectrum, the only thing we see is a small spectrum. You see that in the middle. That is a very small. Most of the things we can't see. X-rays you cannot see on the right side of it. Left side is the microwave, and all the microwave all the way to the infrared. Infrared is heat is the infrared radiation, less than a wavelength of the light. So it's basically photons, electron. All of the radiations are photons, basically waving the different wavelengths. So the gamma ray has a shortest wavelength, means a lot of energy there. Shorter wavelengths have a lot of energy. So so what it does, the two gamma rays hit the detector. The gantry that you see in PET CT scan, that is a gantry. That gantry has a detectors inside. If you open it up, there's a bunch of detectors there. There are photo multipliers and all those things. But the gamma rays go exactly opposite, 180 degrees. The reason they do, they follow laws of physics. Even the God, it has to follow mathematics. To conserve the angular momentum, exactly the two gamma rays go 180 degrees. Exactly. There's no, that is a loss of physics. It When it produces, they don't produce 33 photons. It doesn't produce three gamma rays. They didn't produce one gamma ray. It is always produced two gamma rays to preserve the linear momentum to satisfy the mathematical equations. That is a Newtonian physics. Then you take a picture of it. PET CT scan, for example, this is a woman, a 40-year-old woman. They took a picture. The brain consumes a lot of energy, so the glucose goes to the first of the brain. So you see the dark spots on the top. I'm not a radiologist. We can ask Dr. Krishna Tangala, and another radiologist. We can ask him next time when I invite radiologists. But that is because the consumption of the brain in the brain is very high. That's why you see the dark spot. But there are some of the dark spots you see in the bottom. Urine has a lot of, that we have when you take it out. Urine has those things you see in the glucose consumption, because is accumulated there. But the spots, some of them are there. You see in the bladder and other places, kidney. That is a dark spots. They're dangerous. That is a sign of cancer. So we can ask. I'm not a doctor. We can ask next time radiologist about it. So what is special about PET CT scan? PET CT scan has a pros and cons. One is it can tell you, take a movie of the cancer. It will catch the red-handed way the cells eating eating the glucose, how much hungry it is. So you can take actual movie of through PET scanner. That's a movie. The metabolic system, the metabolic, you can actual functionality, you can catch it. What you cannot find in the PET scanner, the problem is the structure, where is exactly is located. It is a little bit harder. That's why they use the combination is called PET CT scanner. They use the exact location. You can find out through CT scanner. PET CT, you can see actually you can catch the red-handed way. You can catch what is doing, the cancer is doing. So CT, PET, if you do the CT scan by itself and you see PET by itself and PET CT, you see the difference. You can see the cancer there in the prostate cancer. You can see there in the red spot there. You can catch it through. Because if you do any one of them, you could not find it that easy. But when you do PET CT, you can find the cancers much easier. So breast cancer, for example, so you can detect the positron emission tomography by using PET CT. You can catch the breast cancer way in advance. You can see clearly the picture of it. It's active, the metastatic stage. You can see all the stages, that you can see through breast cancer with the PET CT. So it's a very powerful tool to detect cancer. Then, but a lot of cardiologists also use PET CT. That's why I was talking about a rubidium generator. The use of usually FDG. What is heart viability? Because when you have heart attack, myocardial infarction, so there's some of the muscles in the heart is a muscle, right? Some of the muscles dead. They're dead because of the heart, because of injury to the heart. So that you cannot find out. Look at the structure by itself. You cannot see it. You have to see the functionality. You need the function of the heart. You can see what part of the wall is not working. So you need the PET CT. Actually, you can catch it in action. What part of the heart is not working? So myocardial uptake. You see sodium potassium channel pathways. That's very important for the heart. So because there are signals. So sodium potassium channels you see, but it's expensive. Rubidium is a mini. See the office. I saw it. I used to see. I used to in the PET CT scan world. I used to hang around. Rubidium 82 is a very small. Is a $30,000 a month. Is that rubidium generator? Is because 75 seconds in a lot of countries cannot afford. Actually, that is a problem right now. So So hearing, what about the neurologists? Oncologists, we talked about cardiologists, neurologists also to find the Alzheimer's. So Medicare sponsored $100 million studies recently that they wanted to study about the relationship between the abnormal. It's a hallmark of Alzheimer's. Amyloid proteins is the hallmark of Alzheimer's. So they wanted to see through PET CT scan. You can see the PET CT scan. So it can detect in it. You can basically try to reduce. You can use a new experimental medications and all those things. Disease is Alzheimer's. For example, is also can detect through PET CT of dementias. Alzheimer's is one of them, and then you can see through the PET CT. So it's a very valuable instrument of tool to detect the cancer. I want to make one comment. Medicare is trying to abandon this subject because they think that is not that useful. But some of the doctors argue it's very useful. But it is a really. But when we are sending so much money to the other countries, we can do. Americans need this kind of things. It's my personal opinion. It's not. I think it is. We can do this kind of studies. We can afford. I think we need to do all the music, even if it is less predictive results come out. At least you can use another channel available to us. So positron emission tomography as a PET CT and PET MRI that's coming up is a lot of in the research lab right now. PET MRI has no radiation. CT has a lot of radiation. PET MRI doesn't have radiation. So they're all two modal popular. PET CT is extremely popular. PET MRI is under still is kind of a research side of it right now. So my friend, it's not a friend, but I'm a follower of her, and she's connected with me on LinkedIn. And then she's a rock star of Silicon Valley. She is doing a wearable MRI. She's doing MRI, open water. It's called a company called Open Water. She can get reproduce the images of almost MRI quality. I want to mention that it's nothing to do with the positron, but I want to mention that she is working on it. UC Davis did a complete body. Now in the future is going to be the future of that diagnosis. Is that you can go inside and then entire body, any cancers come out, everything in one shot. You see that patient has a multiple cancer. The lighting up process is a very dangerous ones. They're all ones are the cancer. You can see the markers. So you can do the UC Davis as a complete body spec scanner, and then Siemens has another one. HR is called a high resolution research. Is a tomography. Is a very new one is coming up. It's all these are things are coming up in the PET CT scan because of only one man. That this man gave the physics for the positron. That's why we can detect the cancer. He was in the Solvay conference is one of the most well-known conference for physicists. It used to be in the 1920 and 30. They got together in Solvay, and then he was there right in the middle behind Albert Einstein. So Paul Dirac is a rock star. He's not a Mozart. They call him Mozart of science. So because of him that when he died, they put his tombstone. They put a Dirac equation on his equation on the tombstone. Okay, then they call him Mozart of science. I call it that most beautiful equation in medicine. They call most beautiful equation in physics, but in fact, I call it the most beautiful equation in medicine. Because so many people, because of his physics, there are so many people can, detecting cancer is so useful right now, and millions of people lives are saved. In final years of the Paul Dirac moved to Tallahassee, he had a lot of offers from Stanford, Princeton. He did not take it. He went to Florida, Tallahassee. He moved from England. He migrated from England to University of Florida State University, Tallahassee. Is not any well-known physics lab or anything like that, but still he was there, and he died in the night quietly, as he's very quiet man, and he died very quiet without any fanfare. He died in 1984 he died. So it's because of him, there is a heroes like that that we are saving lives. Paul Dirac is the hero for the one of the pioneers to detecting cancer. He gave the physics of the positron, which is a fundamental to detecting cancers and everything. We owe him, all the cancer survivors owe him a big gratitude. Thank you for watching. I really, let me play this one. I will bring um, um, Dr. Uh, Krishna Tangala. I bring him to the table. Let us see what he says about it. So that's Tangela. That is the PET CT history of the PET CT, how it came out, and what is going on in PET CT with the one-man detection. Think about that. He wrote like you're producing all your domain, a lot of you're writing the content. He was doing the same thing indirectly in his home. That's a road with the 1930s. He wrote the equation. We are getting the benefit today.
Well, it'll be very unfair to compare me with him. I mean, he is on a different
No, no, no.
celestial system of himself. I mean, I don't think it'll be fair. He What he has done with PET, and your presentation was very, very good. What he has done with PET and the modern application in medicine about in regards to PET scan, it's extremely vital tool to detect the extent of tumor and to detect tumor recurrences. We routinely use that in clinical medicine, and it saves patients' life through early detection and early intervention. So, thanks for this presentation. It was extremely good.
Thank you. So, give me your web address. How do they can create a profiles? And give me your web address, dovmed.com, right? If I
Yeah, that's it. Dovemed.com. All our
DOVEMED.com.
applications. D Dove, the bird dove, DOVE, and the Med MED. Um, if you buy, if you type in Dove MD, you will still get to dovemed.com, but the company is called dovemed.com. And we also have an Android app and a iOS Apple app for patient forums called My Circles. You can download that. It's very interactive and very helpful. Um, we have over 1.4 million physician profiles on DoveMed. If you are a US trained physician, then you can come to DoveMed and claim your profile and brand your profile. You can gain uh, patient visits if you are trying to increase your practice size. If you want to let the world know what you are up to, you can communicate through DoveMed, through your profile. If you're a clinic, you can come and claim your profile and brand yourself. Tell us what services you have to offer, how many providers you have, and what are your locations, hours of operation. So there's a tremendous amount of value in claiming your profile. We also have 125,000 healthcare related non for profits. So if you're a non for profit and you're trying to engage your donors, we have tools for you to engage your donors. Um, and, uh, and one of the cool products I haven't talked to you yet about is the product called Dove Community. Uh, so think about the Dove Community as a uh, area around you where you seek healthcare. We have created around 5,000 Dove communities covering pretty much the entire United States. And just put in your zip code and join your Dove community and talk about healthcare there. Uh, the physicians in your area, the hospitals in your area, uh, health related uh, activities, free mammogram screenings, free PSA screenings, free dental clinics you may have. Um, you may want recommendation for a dermatologist or an oncologist. Um, you may want to know which is a better hospital in your area to go to if you have a heart condition. Um, so those are the kind of discussions healthcare consumers can engage in our Dove communities. Just It's simple, it's free, it's easy to create an account. And once you create an account, just type in your zip code and join and just interact.
Great, great addition to the healthcare circle. Thank you. It's always true honor, sir. You were
Thank you very
a
much for having
valuable
me.
information source for our show. Thank you so much. You provide a wonderful, wonderful information to us. Thank you. It's truly an honor. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. Have a nice day.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it